Welcome to Touchline Talk by Soccer Perspective. I'm your host of Touchline Talk, Brandon Faust. And as we prepare for leagues around Europe to get started in the coming weeks, preseason is underway, the transfer market in full force. There are some massive changes happening in the landscape of world football, and particularly in European football, and amongst the manager carousel of transitions of managers moving from one team to another, which impacts play style, tactics, and personnel. And so we're going to highlight some of the key clubs that have new managers coming in and managers leaving the club. The first one we're going to talk about is Brentford. Now, Brentford has been a scrappy team that has solidified itself in the Premier League under the leadership of Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank has left to go to Tottenham. And incoming as the new manager is Keith Andrews, who's previously been an assistant and has been an assistant even with Ireland. And what Keith Andrews brings is a more possession-oriented play style, emphasis on technical build-up and midfield control, where Thomas Frank's style over the years, with a limited budget, is a very defined play style of a compact 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 that provides defensive solidity, set-piece excellence, direct transitions, which we've seen from Mbeumo, who's now transferred to Manchester United, and Wisa, players like this over the years, where they overperform, where they're you can see the play style is understood by the players, the transition play in a very direct style. So will Brentford shift to a more progressive midfield-centric game or maintain their pragmatic DNA with their manager gone and some of their key personnel gone as well?
And we interrupt this episode to bring you our sponsor, Equipt Studios. Equipt Studios are making fantastic kits for teams, for soccer teams all over. If you are involved with a club, if you are involved with a professional soccer team, this right here, USL League 2, the third tier here in the United States, the West Junction Seattle FC kit is awesome. I love this. And our friends at Equipt Studio are making these. They've actually even made training jerseys for some of the soccer trainings I do. They're amazing. They're high quality. Check them out at equipstudios.com. Austin and the team are doing incredible work there. So check out Equipt Studios. Get yourself a really custom, really thought through in terms of brand design, the little intricacies. I mean, I love what's going on with this badge here. Some of the markings, obviously you can get your badge on there. Lightweight, meant for, athletes to be in. You can include your sponsors. I mean, even little things right here on the collar as well. So Equipt Studios, that's equipstudios.com.
On the note of Thomas Frank, he is incoming to Tottenham Hotspur with the outgoing of Ange Postecoglou. With Ange, seeing European triumph, Spurs lifting a trophy for the first time in a very long time, and winning the Europa League, right? Massive trophy to win. So Ange and Ange Ball was known for its high line, positional play, relentless attacking width, 4-3-3 with fullbacks that often inverted, and this idea of a wheel of chaos where midfielders, fullbacks, and wingers would interchange positions, creating numerical advantages in the attack and disrupting defenses. But the downside of this is it often led to their own chaos in defensive assignments. How do you get back into a shape? Who's going to take what defensive responsibility? And so Ange Ball at its peak was phenomenal. And, as we saw, Spurs finish very low in the table, even, scraping around those relegation places for a while. Daniel Levy and the Tottenham Hotspur decided to go in a new direction, bringing in a really established Premier League coach and someone in Thomas Frank. And Thomas Frank, pragmatic, more reactive, prefers flexibility and defensive structure plays that direct style. It'll be interesting to see that transition in how the Spurs set up their lineup, how Spurs set up their tactics. Well, the Spurs, they're kind of historically known as playing not that they always have great success, but like free-flowing, attractive, attacking style football. So will they lose their attacking swagger in the trade to be a little bit more pragmatic, bring balance, consistency under the leadership of Thomas Frank? Then we have the Brazilian national team. Carlo Ancelotti arrived to Brazil to manage them this summer. And the outgoing of Dorival Jr. Was 7-7-2, but only a 43% win rate. When you compare that to recent Brazilian managers like Luis Felipe Scolari, his win rate was 65%, Dunga 69%, Tite 74% win rate, and Dorival emphasized tactical flexibility, a focus on player development, and a pragmatic approach to trying to achieve results. But Ancelotti, he is a manager who knows how to manage and get the best out of his superstars. He knows how to relate to superstars. He's won all over the world. Calm pragmatism, flexible systems, right? Ancelotti has been kind of known for being one of the few managers left that doesn't just have to play a certain style. He sees what he has, and then he uses that. And a team like Brazil, with their quality, their caliber, the amount of attacking type of players, you've got Vini Jr., Rafinha, Rodrigo. You've got all kinds of unique attacking options. So how does a manager leverage that, utilize that, manage those personalities? And he's known for his elite man management, to get the best out of his guys and to understand what they're desiring, controlled tempo and defensive balance as well. So it'll be interesting to see how there's a shift, especially as Brazil prepares for the World Cup in 2026. Then we have Real Madrid. On the note of Carlo Ancelotti leaving Real Madrid and going to Brazil, the arriving of Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso, formerly of Liverpool as a player and Real Madrid. What you see from Alonso is a 3-4-2-1 system that he's used at Bayer Leverkusen, which we saw them have an incredible run these last couple of years. Fluid buildup, aggressive pressing, and positional rotations. And it'll be interesting to see the youth and innovation meet the history and tradition of Real Madrid. Will Xabi Alonso's tactical identity usher in a new era of controlled aggression at the Bernabeu? Or will we see there be a steep learning curve as he learns how to step in and manage, the players like a Kylian Mbappe, Vini Jr.? How do you keep everybody happy? How do you keep everybody fed in a system where, in previous years, Bayer Leverkusen was thought to be kind of like a chip on their shoulder, dark horse when you come into a place like Real Madrid and you're expected to have results right away? Will the players buy into this tactical system? How married will he be to his system? Does he have the right personnel and players? The signing of a Trent Alexander-Arnold and others. We've seen some flashes here at the Club World Cup of some of these new personalities and profiles coming in. So that is certainly one to watch as well. And then on the note of Bayer Leverkusen, as Xabi Alonso has left Bayer Leverkusen to go to Real Madrid, incoming is Erik ten Hag, formerly a manager of Manchester United and Ajax prior to that. Xabi Alonso had that dynamic system with high pressing, fluid movement, modern, crisp, and they won a lot of games in that way. Ten Hag, from the Dutch school of thought, structured positional play and demanding transitions, can sometimes come across a very direct play, fast-paced style with an emphasis on those transitions between defense and attack, demands a lot of his players and their physical discipline as well. He often uses some sort of mid-block sort of defensive strategy to break quickly into space with direct passes, as opposed to a Guardiola style where they keep the ball 60, 70, 80% of the time. And then also, his man management, right, which we did not see come across well at Manchester United, with how disciplined he wants the players to be, regimented, accountability, proactive approach. So it'll be interesting to see that difference between Xabi Alonso and Ten Hag, the play style differential, and how that's going to shape the landscape of the Bundesliga as Bayer Leverkusen looks to take that next step as well. So what managers are you excited to see in their new squads this year, at the new clubs this year? Last year we watched the transition of Arne Slot come in for Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, and Liverpool went on to go and win the Premier League, which obviously they're always kind of in contention in recent years, but I don't think anyone expected them to run away with it. And Arne Slot's first year, who's going to be that coach this year? Who's going to be that new manager this year that gets them over the edge? Real Madrid are looking at, as Barcelona ran towards success in the league, what's Real Madrid going to do in the league and in the Champions League this upcoming season? Will Brentford fall apart, or will they solidify themselves still as a mid to upper table Premier League team? And can Spurs make a leap, finishing 17th in the league? Can they take that step after, winning, the Europa League? They're positioned for Champions League European football, right, as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. Excited to get the season going, excited to see what other transfers are coming in, and excited to see the impact and the structure of the teams with all of this manager carousel. We want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of Touchline Talk by Soccer Perspective. We'll see you next time on Touchline Talk.